Once again, my good friends, and I don't think you can see it, but I actually have the Olympics on in the background, and this shirt is a little bit dated. It's the I don't think this is a American League Championship trip for the Texas Rangers. If you want to see my Texas Ranger video, click right there. Because we didn't just win the American League Championship, we won the World Series. But back to sports, Olympics. I have the primetime Olympics on. I've been watching the Olympics. I'm not sure how many of you know this about me, but I really love sports. I was an athlete before I hurt my back. I played basketball, volleyball, and softball. Basketball is what I played the longest. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'5", but that's enough for a shooting guard. Steph Curry, you have nothing on me. So this is a pretty long tag. I'm using my phone because the tag I found I just took pictures of each question. So before I start, I'm going to leave you with the question. This is what I call my work hair, as opposed to my hair that's appeared in other videos. Do you prefer my work hair, so my professional hair, just a little bit messy, or do you prefer the crazy hair? Answer that, roll that intro. Okay, so the first one is The Opening Ceremony, a book you loved from the first page. And let's see if I can find it on... Okay, so my bookshelf is pretty stacked, but I'm just going to enter a screenshot. It is Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson. Now, this book definitely did have some problems in the writing, but I really enjoyed it. And it had a great opening line. The first opening line was something like, Kian was running for his life, waiting for the voice in his head to talk again. So great first line. I think I gave the book 3 stars just because there were some problems, mainly words that the author used that don't mean what I think he meant it mean. The one that sticks in my mind most is lathering, sweat lathering at his temples. Sweat doesn't lather. So, good job, Andrew. I'll go ahead and tag you. I really liked your book. Where's the second one? Come on now. Okay, trampoline. Trampoline is an Olympic sport, guys. So, a childhood favorite. So, I'm going to say The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because this is the first book I read by myself. And I don't mean that I read the whole thing by myself. What I mean is I was sitting there waiting for my dad to come read it. And I opened the page and I looked at it and I realized I could read. I read the first paragraph. There were once 4 kids and their names were Peter, Susan, Edward, and Lucy, or Edmund and Lucy. And I was like, whoa, I just understood this. I was able to read. So I was 5 years old and that was when I first realized I was able to read. So, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Which you should read first, not second. Alright, Soccer, a book that took you around the world. So, for this, I'm going to do A Column of Fire by Ken Follett. This is his 3rd book in the Kingsbridge series, not including the prequel. So, I read them Pillars of the Earth, World Without End, Evening in the Morning, which is the prequel, A Column of Fire, and then the new one, Armor of Light. So one thing people don't like about this book is that it's not really a Kingsbridge book because it's so global. It takes place across the globe, but that's what I found kind of cool about it. And it is my favorite Kingsbridge book. I felt that it had a more intriguing central conflict, and it had the only romance, the only Ken Follett romance I've ever rooted for in my life. Synchronized Swimming, a book with great friendship. So this might be a little bit cheating because I haven't read the book. I've only seen the musical, but I'm going to say Wicked. The friendship between Elphaba and Galinda is so touching, and it just really speaks to how women befriend each other and also how much we can hate each other. So yeah. Alright, Swimming, a book that made you sob. Last book to ever make me cry was Salt to the Sea, and it was quite a cry. So there we go. Handball, a book you didn't really get. The Lord of the Rings, I don't get it. I love the movies. I've tried to read The Fellowship of the Ring multiple times. I don't get it. I don't like the writing. I may try to read it just because I need to read it, but I don't know if it's going to happen, guys. All right, Gymnastics, a book with a lot of plot twists. So here's the thing. I tend to sort of see plot twists coming because I'm an English teacher and we kind of like teach that stuff. So this one's a little hard. I did see the twist coming in Everwild by Neil Shusterman. It's the second book in his Skinjacker trilogy, which is about like the afterlife for children. But I'm going to go ahead and say Everwild. I knew the twist was coming, but I thought it was a good twist. All right, so next question. Sport Climbing, a book that scared the bejesus out of you. I don't know if I have one. I'm not easily scared by books. When I was a child, I was scared by a book called The Ghost of Fossil Ridge, I think, to the point where I like opened it, read something, and put it down. So Ghost of Fossil Ridge, Ghost of Fossil Glen, something. I'll put it right there. All right. Cycling, favorite road trip book. So the last book I read on a road trip, I don't know if there's any book that's like good for a road trip. The last book I finished reading on a road trip was like an introduction or a very short introduction to medieval literature. But I did listen to an audiobook on a road trip, The Queen's Curse or The King's Curse by Philippa Gregory. I listened to half of it and then read the rest of it, and the half that I listened to on a 10-hour road trip was really, really enjoyable. The narrator was great. If you've watched my videos, you know I can be really, really picky about audiobook narrators and the fact that I'm really sensitive to sound, and sometimes sound will like literally make me feel sick. So it can be tough with audiobooks, but I really liked that audiobook, and the book itself was pretty great too. All right, Taekwondo, a book rich in culture. So I'm going to cheat and say these three. So Foster, Small Things Like These, which was my favorite book of 2023, and So Late in the Day, all by Claire Keegan. They're very Irish because she's Irish. So there we go. They are rich in modern and contemporary Irish culture. All right, Triathlon, a book with a good love triangle. I don't like the love triangle trope, so I'll just say The Hunger Games, because that was the only one I really cared about. Hurdles, a book you struggled to finish. That would be Outlander number 6. I loved this when I was reading it, but it was just so long that like I could read for hours and hours and just feel like I wasn't making any progress. So I think I picked it up and put it down like 4 or 5 times, and it took me a year and a half to read, but it might be my favorite Outlander book. Okay. Basketball. Hey, sorry. Felix just bit my toes. Felix. So, Basketball, a book that was a slam dunk. Let's see. So, slam dunk means total perfection in every way possible. I'll just go back to my fave, Pull of the Stars. All right. Closing Ceremony, a book that ended perfectly. I am very, very picky about endings. I'll go back and just say Salt to the Sea. It ended perfectly. All right, Equestrian, a book featuring animals. So the animal is not the main character in Trust of the Emerald Sea, but she has a animal companion, which is a rat, and it's about a girl with messy hair whose best friend is a rodent. Volleyball, a book set in the summer. I don't know if I've read any, so I'll just say beach read. I haven't read that, but I'm pretty sure it's set in the summer. Fencing, a book with a lot of fighting / bloodshed. So I do read a lot of historical fiction. The one that had the most battle scenes that I can recall is Winter of the World by Ken Follett. All right, Modern Pentathlon, an epically long book. Any of the Outlander books. The first one's not that long, but the second one, the 5th one, and the 6th one are enormous. They are so big. They 2 of them go beyond 500,000 words. That's 10 times longer than the average novel. Diving, a book that was really deep. A lot of the books I read are pretty deep. I'm going to say, what is it called? Windows on the World. So this is a book about 9/11 and about a guy who's writing a book about 9/11. It's kind of like memoir-ish and imaginative at the same time. And it's deep, it's tragic, it's grotesque, and it's lighthearted in a certain way. So highly recommend. This is very high literature. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you have access to it, try it. Canoe Sprint, best short book. So Claire Keegan right here. I will say small things like these, but also so that I don't reuse books too much, I'm going to say At Night All Blood is Black. This won the International Booker in 2020, I think. It is about a Senegalese warrior in World War I fighting for the French who goes crazy. And Golf, a slow-paced book. I mean, any of the history books I read are going to be pretty slow-paced because I read a lot of non-fiction history books. You know what? I'm actually going to say Wolf Hall. Wolf Hall is slow-paced, but I read through it not quickly. It took me a while, but it didn't feel as long as it was, but it was definitely slow of pace. And bonus, books that actually feature Olympic sports. I don't know. I've never read a book set in the Olympics. So I don't know. And as far as tagging people, I don't think I'm going to tag anybody because I don't know how sporty people on BookTube are. I love sports. I would tag Britain again, but I've already tagged him a few times. So I will just direct you to our chat about University of Texas and University of Oklahoma, the football game that my team lost. But hey, win or lose, at least I don't live